Everything I need to know I learnt in the forest by Vandana Shiva. Vandana Shiva was born in the year 1952. She is an internationally renowned activist for biodiversity. She is the author of many articles and books. For example, Stolen Harvest, The Hijacking of the Global Food Supply, Earth Democracy, Justice and Sustainability and Peace, Soil Not Oil, Staying Alive, and so on. The present essay, Everything I Need to Know I Learnt in the Forest, is an extract from her article What Would Nature Do? The article What Would Nature Do was published in Yes magazine. Yes, that is the name of the magazine, and she is the contributor of Yes magazine. And the last part of this essay, it is taken from another article named Forest and Freedom. In this essay, she talks about earth, environment, biodiversity, true Indian culture, etc. Dear students, in this lesson there are many topics, but these all the topics are interlinked. So we shall see the first topic, childhood experience of Vandana Shiva and her involvement in Chipko movement. Her mother was a farmer and her father was a forest conservator, and after partition of India and Pakistan, the family has migrated from Pakistan to India and settled in India. And her mother's friends have composed some of the poems about trees, forest, and Indian forest civilization. By hearing those songs, she has learnt much about forest. The main theme of those songs was forest only and usefulness of the forest. And she has close relationship with the forest, and she belongs to that Himalayan region, and she has observed the beauty and bounty of the nature. So totally she has got wonderful experience with the nature. When she was a child, she has got all these experiences, and these childhood experiences has helped her very much. And by observing the Chipko movement, it was started in Himalayan region. By observing the Chipko movement, she has started to involve in that. The Chipko movement, by hugging the trees, some of the women have come forward and they have protected the trees. Sundarlal Bhogund, he is the pioneer of that Chipko movement. The similar kind of movement was taken place in Western Ghats also, that is Appiko movement. Chipko movement, for what it is started? In order to protect the environment, in order to protect the trees. Even though some of the uneducated women, even though those are uneducated, they have come forward and they have hugged the trees and they have protected those trees. And the real value of the forest, those women, uneducated women, know it very well. They may be uneducated, but the thing is that they know the real value of the forest. Logging had led to landslides and floods and scarcity of water, fodder and fuel. These each one of us know. Since women provide these basic needs, the scarcity meant longer walk for collecting firewood, water and a heavier burden actually. Women, they will provide all this, they will go to the different areas and they will fetch the firewood, they will fetch the water. So all these basic needs women only has provide. they have to provide. So because of this reason, they know the real value of the forest. The real value of the forest is not only the timber from a dead tree, the real value of the forest is streams and springs. If there is forest, if there are more number of trees, easily they can get the fresh air, easily they can get the fresh water. Streams and springs will be there, water will be there in much quantity. Underground water level, it reaches its height. So the real value of the forest, they know it very well. So when the contractors have come to cut the trees, on that situation, the women, those uneducated women, they have come forward and they have quetched the trees. Quetched means hugged. They have hugged the trees and they have sung the song, and they have sung the folk song. Actually, by observing these are all the things, the writer Vandana Shiva has got inspiration. In the year 1973, she had to move away from her place to Canada to pursue her PhD. When she was a small girl, on that situation, she used to visit a famous river. But the thing is that river, that stream, it has reduced into a small trickle in the sense very small river or the small stream. So here she has noticed that the water flow or the flow of water, it is completely reduced. Why it has been taken place? Because of the degradation of forest. By observing these things, by observing the Chipko movement, she has started to decide to involve in the Chipko movement. By doing the Padayatras, walking pilgrimage, she has involved in Chipko movement, and she has documented each and everything about Chipko movement. And she has narrated one small incident here which belongs to Chipko movement. In the place called Advani, that is the name of a place in Himalayan region. In the year 1977, a peasant woman called Bachini Devi has come forward to protect the trees. Along with her companions, along with her friends, she has come forward and she has protested. Contractor and the forest officer has come there to cut the trees, but the thing is that contractor, the person who has got the contract to cut the trees, he is none other than her husband only. So here, even though her husband is ready to cut the trees, she has protested. How they have protested? They have brought the lighted lanterns and they have shown that lighted lanterns. That is a kind of protesting against something, a kind of protesting, that is. And they have questioned, for what sake you are cutting the trees? Please don't cut the trees. They have told like this, and the forest officer has retorted at her. Retorted in the sense, responded in a humorous way. What he has said: you foolish woman, how can you prevent the trees by felling by those who know the real value of the forest? That contractor and the forest officer, they know the real value of the forest. According to them, the real value of the forest is only the timber, resin, and by selling all those timber and resin, they can get the profit. But as per the opinion of these uneducated women, that is not the real value. The real value of the forest is pure air, fresh air, or the fresh water, these things. So they have responded in a different way. They have sung a song in chorus and they have responded. From Chipko movement, she has learnt about biodiversity. So in order to save biodiversity, she has started an organization called Navadhanya farm. There are many different kinds of species, many different kinds of birds, different kinds of insects, different kinds of animals, different kinds of crops. There are many different kinds of things in this world. But the thing is that people are unable to know that, and people, they don't have proper knowledge about this biodiversity. So that she has mentioned in her book called Monocultures of the Mind. In that she has mentioned the failure to understand biodiversity and its many functions is at the root of the impoverishment of nature and culture. That means she has actually, human beings are failed to understand the biodiversity. Because of that lack of knowledge about biodiversity only, people are facing the trouble nowadays. That she has highlighted in her book. And Navadhanya Farm, it is an important organization in order to save biodiversity and in order to give the knowledge about biodiversity. She has said that she has established biodiversity farm, Navadhanya farm in Doon Valley in the year 1994 in the lower elevation of Himalayan region, Uttarakhand. She further says that 150 varieties of wheat and 630 varieties of rice and many different kinds of crops or the seeds she has saved. And any farmer can go there and they can get the information about this cultivation of different varieties of crops. For example, rice. We may know only one type of rice, but the thing is that there are many different types of rice. Hardly we may know one or two types of rice. So for example, RR8, that is an example of rice or the paddy. These farmers, they will cultivate the same kind of crops. They may not know about different types of rice. So if the farmers don't know about that, this Navadhanya farm, it helps the farmers. If we need help, we can go there and we can get the information. There some of the officials will be there. They will give the information and how to cultivate the crops and all those things, information they will give. Farmers can get the information and they can cultivate the crops. And she further says that more than 100 community seed banks have been set up across the nation. So this is an answer to the food and nutrition crisis. How to cultivate the crops by using the natural fertilizer in a natural way, that also has been demonstrated in Navadhanya farm. So she says that biodiversity has been her teacher of abundance and freedom. Next part, rights of nature on the global stage. Nature is a teacher. William Wordsworth says, nature is a teacher and preacher for him. We will worship nature. But even though we will worship the nature, to some extent we have neglected nature and we are dominating over nature and the environment. Here some of the countries, for example Ecuador and Bolivia, has recognized the rights of nature. The country called Ecuador has mentioned the term called rights of nature in its constitution. And one more country called Bolivia also has declared rights of nature or rights of Mother Earth. By observing these two nations, United Nations organization has organized a conference. Some of the various aspects have been discussed in that conference. Among all those aspects, one of the important aspect is domination of humans over the nature. That has been discussed in that conference. Finally, the United Nations organization has published a report called Harmony with Nature. In that report, they have clearly mentioned that each one of us have environmentally destructive behavior. For what we have such kind of behavior, that has been mentioned. We are failed to recognize that human beings are an inseparable part of nature and that we cannot damage it without severely damaging ourselves. This has been mentioned in that report. We will learn many things and we will pursue many different degrees. Higher education we will pursue, and what is the use of that higher education? Some of the educated people are polluting the environment much. Only the environmental pollution or how to protect the environment, everything has been mentioned in the form of a book, but that is only the theory. The practice is entirely different. That has been mentioned in the book, how to protect the environment, all these things, but what is going on around the world, that is entirely different. Even the educated people are polluting the environment much. Why? We people have thought that we are separate part, I mean we are an individual, we can dominate the mother earth, we can tame the mother earth, such kind of mentality we have, but we have forgotten that we are an inseparable part of nature. That we have forgotten. That is the result, destructive behavior is the result of this kind of mentality. That United Nations organization says. And one more concept, separatism. One of the prominent and famous environmentalist, Cormac Cullinan, who belongs to South Africa, he has brought out a concept called an eco-apartheid. We know the concept called apartheid policy. Earlier there was a concept called apartheid policy. Apartheid means discrimination on the basis of race, on the basis of color. In Africa, such kind of discrimination was there, but United Nations organization has stopped that. But now it is not there now. But very important thing is that one more important thing is that an eco-apartheid, it has wider and deeper meaning. What is this eco-apartheid? Eco-apartheid in the sense, all other things, living things, non-living things, whatever things are there on this earth, that is separate, and we human beings are separate. We are discriminating all other things, whatever things are there on this earth. We are dominating over other things. This kind of separateness has been called as an eco-apartheid. So this has to be stopped, and we have to get rid of this eco-apartheid. Then only we can lead the life properly, that Cormac Cullinan says. Next part, the dead earth world view. Nowadays in the modern world, many different kinds of products are coming, different kinds of goods or the products will come out from the factories. We will consume those products and we will throw the wrappers or the wastages here and there. So by throwing those wrappers or the wastages here and there, the mother earth will be polluted. Dead matter or these kinds of waste materials will replace the vibrant earth. Vibrant earth, the mother earth. This earth, one day it may become the dead matter. It may become the dead matter. In this part, she has brought two famous personalities. One is Francis Bacon. He has been called as the father of modern science, and one more person is philosopher and historian Caroline Merchant. Francis Bacon, he has said that with the help of science and technology we can achieve anything. We can shake the Mother Earth and its foundation, and we can get the victory over Mother Earth, and we can shake its foundation. And one more person, Caroline Merchant, he says that it's highly impossible. One cannot kill his own mother. We will treat Earth as the Mother Earth. We cannot kill our own Mother Earth. One does not readily slay a mother, dig into her entrails for gold, or mutilate her body in order to get the iron ore or gold. We will dig the earth. But the thing is that for that also certain limit will be there. We cannot cross that limit. If we cross that limit, we won't be there on this earth. Entire Mother Earth, it may collapse totally. We will be disappeared from this earth. So he says that one cannot kill his or her own mother. Here we can say that, for example, in the field of science and technology, nowadays many different kinds of inventions have been taken place. Science and technology has developed like anything, and we are moving forward. For example, earthquake or the weather, if this earthquake will happen in this area at this time, we may predict, or we can forecast the weather, we can foretell the weather. But the thing is that we are unable to stop that. We may forecast it in this area, at this time this much of rainfall will occur, we may say, but the thing is that we are unable to control it. Tsunami, earthquake, volcano, rainfall, whatever these things are, we can forecast it, we can foretell it, but the thing is that we are unable to control it. It says that we are an inseparable part of this nature. In front of the nature, we are completely a dwarf. So we cannot get victory over the nature. So here these two persons' views are entirely opposite. The Earth University. The Earth University is inspired by Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore has established a school called Shantineketana. Nowadays, many different types of crisis problems are intensified by globalization. We are thinking the earth as the dead matter or the dead paradigm. Paradigm in the sense model. There is necessary to move away from earth as the dead matter to the ecological paradigm. Ecological in the sense earth is the living planet. So to get rid of from the problem, writer has established a university called the Earth University. The Earth University teaches earth democracy, how we are living the life on this earth, how whatever the freedom we have, whatever the rights, fundamental rights and duties we have, in the same way all the other species also have the rights, duties, all those things. So this entire earth, it is almost like a democracy, earth democracy. Here how we have the rights, in the same way they also have the rights to lead their life. We should not harm the life, harm the rights of other species. That is our duty while experiencing our rights, we should not, while experiencing our rights, we should not harm others, other animals' rights. That is our duty. We have to introspect ourselves. We are only the parts of our nature. So this Earth University is a shift from anthropocentrism to ecocentrism. Anthropocentrism means, you might have heard the word called anthropology, study about human race, anthropology. Anthropocentrism means human centric theory. We will think that we are the central theme or the main characters. That is anthropocentrism. Ecocentrism in the sense we are not the main thing, and all other the things which are there on this world, that is the main, I mean the environment or the ecology, ecosystem, that is the main thing. Such kind of theory is called as ecocentrism. So Earth University teaches Earth democracy. Earth democracy is a shift from anthropocentrism to ecocentrism. So here we have to think that Earth democracy we have to follow, and Earth University is, there some of the courses were there. The main courses are A to Z of organic farming and agroecology, and Gandhi and globalization. Here in this Earth University, people or the students, they will get experience, I mean by they will work with the living seeds. By working with the living seeds, they will get a kind of experience or the learning experience. The poetry of the forest. The last part of this essay is taken from her book Forest and the Freedom. In this part, she has quoted Rabindranath Tagore's essay Tapovan. Tapona means forest of purity. In this part, Rabindranath Tagore says that whatever the intellectual ideas or the knowledge has been originated in India, that has come from the forest only. When human beings are closely associated with the forest, on that situation, people have gained the knowledge. The origin of knowledge is in the forest only, not in the city. For example, some of the saints, sannyasis or rishis, they have meditated in the forest only. When they are away from the crowd, on that situation, they have gained the knowledge. Further, she has spoken about the forest. In the forest, there is there is unity and the diversity. Both are essential. Unity also should be there and diversity also should be there. Diversity without unity becomes the source of conflict and contest. And these both the words are interlinked. If there is only unity, it's not right thing, and if it is only diversity, that also not suitable. So totally we have to learn this concept, diversity and unity. This concept we have to learn from the forest. For example, if we have hit any young one of animals, the other animal may attack. For example, if we have hit the young monkey, that other animals may come and it may attack on us. So here we have to notice that there is unity in the forest. And forest also teaches us enoughness. For example, if it is hungry tiger, in front of hungry tiger, if there is a deer, that tiger will pounce upon deer. But if it is not hungry, if its stomach is full, on that situation, if the tiger walks in front of, if the deer walks in front of tiger, that tiger never attacks on it. So here it has followed the concept called enoughness, and totally here we have to learn, there are many things to learn from the forest. And renunciation, that is one of the important concept, renunciation. Renunciation, that word she has quoted from Rabindranath Tagore's Tapovana. Rabindranath Tagore has quoted the word from an ancient text. Know all that moves in this moving world as enveloped by God, and find the enjoyment through renunciation, not through greed of possession. Renunciation means reject. Sometimes we will make the assets or the property for our forthcoming generation, but we have to get the enjoyment by rejecting these assets or the money. We should not make the property for our forthcoming generation. So we have to find the enjoyment by rejecting these material wealth, and we cannot get the happiness by possession. So if we stop this consumerism and accumulation, means collecting, if we have stopped it, we can get the happiness in our life.